for a long weekend. And of course, that means busy roads and airports. This is what it looked like at MSP Airport this morning. Things are already starting to pick up. So, Cece, what should we be expecting when we head out of town?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that video from MSP this morning, that was just the start of the busy travel season where we are. Across the country, millions of Americans are packing their bags and throwing them in the trunk or checking them in at airports. As we speak, airports bracing for an influx of passengers. Today alone, 53,000 flights are expected. The FAA predicts this will be the most traveled Memorial Day weekend in nearly 15 years. Some 3.5 million Americans choosing to fly. A AAA spokesperson says to keep in mind, too, that when people travel for these long holiday weekends, many times they're not the business traveler that moves quickly through security, but families. So just give yourself some extra time. We caught up with some travelers at MSP a few hours ago.
Olympic National Park, we like going to national parks, and it's our 5th anniversary. Figured we'd get out and explore somewhere new.
That'll be fun. This year, AAA says road tripping is how Americans are choosing to travel. 38.4 million expected to hit the roads today or Friday. The national gas price average is at $3.61, about the same where it was this time last year. But many travelers say it's reasonable if they want to head out of town. Now, if you do plan to travel by car, try to avoid leaving today from right now until about 6 p.m. You'll hit the most backups during that time. Tomorrow between noon and 7 p.m. is the busiest. And then on Saturday between 2 and 5 p.m. will be the busiest. But coming home on Sunday or Monday during the early morning hours or late at night may be your best bet. But coming up in 30 minutes, we're talking traveling safely this Memorial Day weekend and the measures already in place to keep you safe. There's a lot of them. There's a meeting happening right now talking about safety. So I'll have more on all that.
We want everyone to enjoy their holiday safely. Thank you so much, Cece. And of course, we are sure to see plenty of boats out this weekend. And just over an hour ago, the Minnesota DNR launched a new marine unit to keep everyone safe on the water. The DNR says 145 Minnesotans have died in boating incidents over the last decade, and alcohol was a factor in more than half of those. While the laws don't prohibit people from drinking on a boat, the same legal driving limit is in place. More than 700 other incidents have occurred since 2014 that were not fatal. Minneapolis police are investigating a pedestrian hit and run outside of a South Minneapolis mosque as a bias crime. CARE Minnesota released surveillance video of the incident, and a warning for you, it is pretty hard to watch, but the victim is okay. CARE Minnesota says the survivor is one of its staffers. You can see a minivan speeding toward the survivor. Police say it happened around noon on West 32nd Street. CARE and police say law enforcement and leaders at the mosque know the suspect. He has a history of trespassing and harassing worshipers. We learned this morning he's been arrested. There's a disturbing newly released video from one of the incidents that sparked the war between Israel and Hamas. It shows militants kidnapping female Israeli soldiers. As Raf Sanchez reports, their families are pushing for expedited efforts to bring them home.
Israel today in a state of shock after the release of that video from October 7th showing 7 female soldiers being taken captive by Hamas. The video very difficult to watch. You see Hamas gunmen threatening to kill these women, in some cases leering at them. They are bloodied, they are bruised, they are clearly terrified. And at the end of the video, you see them being taken into a stolen army jeep and abducted into Gaza. Now, of those 7 soldiers, 1 was rescued in the early weeks of the war. 1 was found dead in northern Gaza. The other 5, as far as we know, remain in Hamas captivity. And protesters were back on the streets here in Tel Aviv last night, demanding that their government do more to get to a deal to bring those hostages home 230 days after they were taken. Now, ceasefire negotiations appear effectively stalemated, but in a small sliver of good news, the White House says that food is now reaching Palestinian civilians in northern Gaza after rolling off of a temporary pier built by the U.S. military. That pier a couple of miles off the coast of Gaza, and it is bringing humanitarian aid in by sea. Raf Sanchez, NBC News, Tel Aviv.
We're taking a look at some big decisions happening nationwide today. The first comes from Capitol Hill, where senators will vote on a border security bill. It's already failed to pass once after former President Donald Trump told GOP lawmakers to scratch it. There's also division between Democrats. Some say this bill is a political move coming ahead of the election, adding that the bill should include more funding for Ukraine. Tomorrow marks 2 years since the deadly shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. Now parents of the students killed are filing a new lawsuit. It's aimed at responding officers and the school district. The parents are asking for $500 million, saying more should have been done to protect the kids. This lawsuit comes just after families reached a $2 million settlement with the city. Also in the nation's capital today, House lawmakers are expected to take action on their version of a funding bill that will lead to cuts in the SNAP program. The Farm Bill would allocate $1.5 trillion to help federal food and agriculture programs, and it would change the formula used to determine the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance benefits. A left-leaning research group says it will open the door to policing what SNAP recipients can purchase. Republicans argue it will improve overall health.